right, we are back on the Connected Design podcast, and not the first time we've had Phoenix Marketing Group on, not necessarily the podcast, but on the Connected Design platform. Previously, with Mr. Chris Gilray being a participant in our first roundtable that we ever hosted for Connected Design, and now we got Mr. Bret Jacob, the Senior Business Development Manager for Phoenix. But a gentleman I feel like needs no introduction to this channel. So, Bret, I appreciate you taking the time and joining us and wanting to do a podcast with us, man.
I'm excited. Thank you, Rob, for inviting me, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so for those, I feel like I said, man that needs no introduction, but I want to let you give yourself an introduction. For those that may or may not know you, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your path through the channel, and how you landed there at Phoenix?
Yeah, well, I'm a newish member of the Phoenix Marketing Group. I haven't joined the team just a little over 6 months ago, but I've been in this industry for, well, let's just call it decades. And started in retail audio, then worked for an integrator in the Seattle market. I don't want to neglect to say that I was in the military for 7 years, and I was involved in this industry even then. I was in the Army band, so as a performer, but I was also a sound technician and a recording engineer, as well as working my way through the University of Colorado Denver Recording Arts School. So it was, I've never stepped away. Even when I was in the military, I was kind of always doing this. But when I got out of the military, I landed with a great integration company, commercial integration firm out of Seattle. And we just was exposed to so many large, impressive projects, and was very, very fortunate to have been involved in some of the most iconic buildings in the Pacific Northwest, from the Space Needle to, the Bill Gates residence, just a lot of really cool projects. And then started my own integration company, had a lot of success there, and had an opportunity that I really wanted to jump at, and that was to go work for one of my favorite manufacturers, which was Elan. And it required a move from the Northwest to the Northeast. But I was so intrigued and always wanted to work for a manufacturer after being so many years in the field, and it worked out pretty well for me. But so I left the company in the hands of my partners and made that move, and stayed with the same organization, basically surviving 5 mergers and acquisitions over a 23-year period, until I didn't. Right?
Yeah.
And,
yep.
So completed an 18-month non-compete, had been looking for a home, and Chris Gilray and I we'd always hit it off personally, and we started talking, and his vision was, how do we get upstream of the integrator, right? Because so many times the integrator is brought in too late before really great designs can come to fruition. It's just, they're always having to do what they can do with little time and resources that they have. So let's see if we can get it upstream, and that's something I'd been working on for 9 years previously in my last job as the director and vice president of business development at Nortec and NICE. So it worked out well, and now I'm here, right, and really enjoying it.
Well, the rounded background too. I have to imagine that the experience on the integration side, and then obviously a lot of time as well. On the manufacturer side, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you for your service as well. But like the well-rounded nature of that, being able to apply it into what you're doing today, how important is that experience?
I think having been an integrator has always served me well, because I feel their pain every day, and especially when it comes to working with builders and architects and designers, and the frustration they feel where they know they could have done a better job if they'd just been brought in a little bit earlier. That's usually the problem, and that requires education, and that requires a lot of advocacy. So that's right up my alley. That's what I've been doing. I had a lot of success with that in my previous stop, and I plan on implementing a lot more solutions to move that forward in the industry. And also, being the chair of the NAHB Custom Builder Technology Group, that group is tasked with the same thing, with helping and empowering custom builders to to implement technology solutions easier into their projects.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's something I want to dive into with you too. But I know, it's only been 6 months, as you said, at Phoenix. But I feel like even since the last time we talked, which was only a couple weeks ago, man, lots been going on. You've been a busy man. So catch us up. What for those that aren't aware of what you're doing right now? I mentioned it senior business development manager. But talk about what it is you're doing there at Phoenix.
Well, thanks. I pretty much think I have the best job in the company here at Phoenix. I always kind of do when I'm in a business development role. I just dig it, but I also get to lead our internal design team. So this new group we call Phoenix Design Build Services, or PDBS is our acronym, and we are a very empowered team. It's myself, it's Sean Stevenson, Mark Skaczynski, another one coming soon, and we're building something that we believe has the capability to change our industry and the way that builders and architects and designers think about and work with integrators. So we're doing that every day in the field. I'm going to be working with Mark next week in the Philadelphia, New Jersey market, and we'll be
just come say hi.
We might do that.
Yeah.
So on top of all of that work, we're building, and we're right in the process, it's under construction, of building a demand gen platform to be a resource and a destination for the design build community. It's a place for them to come and get support and inspiration, and ultimately a connection to an integrator in their market who we believe is really best positioned to deliver for them, and to, of course, deploy solutions that include audio and motorized shades and lighting and acoustics and so forth. So, we're creating some very cool sales and marketing assets that served me well in my previous role that we like to deploy into these integrator builder or integrator designer relationships. It's things that are really simple, but we're doing these things in-house, such as co-branded brochures that help the builder or the designer open the door with their potential clients to the technology solutions that they're offering through the integrator. It's such a simple tool, but so effective and cost effective too. And then, we even have the ability to add a technology solutions section to a builder's website or a designer's website. And it's something that so many builders never even mention in their marketing or on their websites.
Right.
So that's a really cool tool that we can help them take ownership of the category. We're always encouraging them, take ownership. You don't have to know everything. You just need to know the right questions to ask.
Right.
And then we're doing case studies at a national level. So I can deploy a photographer to any job site in the country to take still photography or videos that we can use to help tell the story about the project. The focus of these case studies, or project spotlights we're calling them, is a little bit about the integrator, a little bit about the manufacturer, even a little bit about Phoenix, but primarily it's talking about the design build professional who took the initiative and had the balls, right, to deploy and say, yes, we're going to do this, and we want to elevate them, right? We want their peers to get a little FOMO and see and be inspired by the others that are taking that. So that's a big part of it. And then I guess there are some other innovative ways we can help builders and designers take ownership of our category. We're offering things like immersive 3D tours. We're building out interactive design center displays, some things like that.
No, that's all. Well, it's cool to hear all of those things, and I mean to package it up in a way and just explain it. I mean, you're bringing awareness to the design build channel, on what is possible from a technology standpoint, which is something that I know, we see each other at CDIAs all the time, and that's a channel that's an organization that has made an effort to bring awareness around what technology integrators do or custom integrators do, and how they can work better with designers and architects and builders. But this is real steps, initiatives and things that you're closing that gap, it feels like, between the design build and the integrator community.
That is certainly the goal. It really is to help them, and part of it is just anybody can generate a lead. Any of our manufacturers can go out there and generate leads and market directly to builders, architects, and designers. Where we have that extra sauce is our regional sales managers across the country. They have intimate relationships with integrators, and they know basically who is best positioned, who can perform, what their strengths are. Some guys are better at some aspects of projects than there are others, and we can steer the builder, architect, designer, register the project, and then keep that thing going all the way through, keeping our design team involved throughout that process as well.
I I have to imagine too, like in your conversations with that community, the design build community, you're learning a lot about the types of questions they have or concerns, even when it comes to technology and ultimately the impact on what they're trying to create, that experience. Is that am I right in that? I guess is a question. And then like, what are the things that you're hearing? Like, what are those? If there are any commonalities between the types of concerns or things you hear?
Well, that opens up a big can of worms.
Yeah, I bet.
I think I mentioned that I attended the NAHB Spring Leadership Week in Washington, D.C., which was really a great thing. I was just enjoyed every second of that trip. And I had about 20 conversations with custom builders in a very condensed period of time. And it just kind of hit me all of a sudden that, and there was a range of, I don't know if it's how many shades of gray there is here, but the one is a guy who says, yeah, I use my electrician.
Right.
And I call one of those low volt guys if the electrician can't get it right, and I'm just okay. And then on the other end, I'll even drop his name, Greg Hardwick with Hardwick Construction out of Orlando. He says, I don't do anything without my integrator. The minute I get architectural plans, my integrator's in the meeting. When we meet with the client, we meet with them, and the integrator's involved at every aspect. And so if that's a 1 and a 7 or a 1 and a 10, that gap and all the variables that go along with that, from the approach to how do you monetize it, to how do you advertise it, and how does it help you differentiate offering technology solutions in your market. There's everything in between. So the question I'm trying to answer is, what does a builder's technology profile look like? Right. And how do we help them move up the spectrum? And you could apply that same thing to a designer as well. There are interior designers who are petrified and do everything else that they know what to do, but they'll kind of avoid our category in general.
Yeah, the ones that get it, how are they implementing it? Or to Hardwick's point, like the fact that he is in lockstep with his integrator every step of the way. Like, well, is there not necessarily like a hurdle or something, but like why is he able to like understand the potential of having an integrator be that involved in a project?
I think he understands that how important it is at the design level. So he specifically tells his architects to leave lighting out because my integrator is going to handle that, right? So the lighting design is handled right from the get-go by the integrator, right? It's an understanding of that these are luxury homes, and their clients ultimately are going to be living with them, and he has seen the best results when he's approached it this way, with the integrators deeply immersed in the project and involved at the design stage, and that a builder like that understands it's just a better product that he's delivering.
Right. It might sound kind of old school, but it kind of goes back to the idea of, I'm sure the integrator he works with is someone that, has developed a strong relationship with him and done great work with him. I have to imagine that's a big part of it too. That can't be overlooked.
Right. And a great reputation as well to go along with it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome though. I mean, it's kind of proof, I think, in that, if you're willing to put in that work and develop those relationships, obviously that's important. But to the other end of it, there are so many builders and designers out there who, I mean, they need to become more comfortable with it. So like, it's just a matter of getting in with them and getting them to, I guess, understand, the importance of having a technology, solution in your offering, or a partner that you can rely on. Right. And just to, kind of a point to why the work you're doing is so important.
I think that is really important. And one, I'll just point to kind of a daily element of my job is I've had 3 meetings today with integrators who work with Phoenix and our team, and our regional sales manager identified that integrator as somebody that I should speak with, mostly for just coaching and saying, okay, I'm in this market. I'm in Southern California. I have one builder relationship. I want to have more. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the one you do have. What can we do to help cement that relationship? Let's apply some sales and marketing tools, some different approaches that would help the builder understand this is why you want to be partnered with us. One of them, there are 2 things I think that builders like to hear. Number one, if there is backing beyond the integrator, if there's a manufacturer or like us, representative, that has their back. I think builders feel comfortable knowing that there's somebody behind the integrator, knowing that the integrator is the guy, but there's somebody behind them backing the whole thing. And especially when we're adding additional elements like brochures and website, things like that to help tell that story, the story or the conversation shifts to what am I doing for you in your business, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to what builders are so accustomed to is I know this integrator is trying to get to my clients so I can sell them a bunch of stuff. If the approach is more, what can I do for you in your business, Mr. Builder or Mr. Designer, Miss Designer, how that changes that conversation.
Yeah. And the word you end on there too, right? Conversation. I know that's a lot of, there's a lot of discussion in the channel on how, integrators need to talk to the design build channel and vice versa, getting, kind of the languages to align and understand each other. Anything the conversations, I know it's only been 6 months again there, right? But, you can maybe lean on sort of what you've seen in the past, but, the conversations you're having today, is there anything you could provide from sort of like, I don't know, educational or just sort of what you're seeing as far as how these integrators are talking to the design channel? Like, what are the things they're leading with? I'm kind of getting at, leading the witness here, but, right. It's obviously not specs that they care about, right? It's that experience and things like that. Like, is that common in sort of a common thread in what you're seeing?
It is. I will say builders are less concerned about the details, generally speaking, than designers are. Designers, there is a skill to sitting down with a specifier and pulling out your samples and walking them through why this lighting fixture or this small speaker or hidden speakers would be a good fit for their project. Builders care less about those kind of details and more about don't screw up my schedule. Let's make sure that the infrastructure is correct, right, and making sure that the timing is working out well.
Yeah,
so they're different approaches, but still.
Yeah, and I think that, what's interesting too is that I'm sure they're not all alike. Like, just how no two integrators are the same. The design build community, especially, when you're talking about custom homes or custom design, interior design,
right.
What's important to one isn't going to necessarily be the same thing that's important to another. So I think, again, it's just funny. It kind of goes back to being authentic in those conversations, right, with them and building a rapport and a relationship that, just sort of, they trust you.
Really, and I guess that comes back to I'm here to help you with your business. I'm not here to just sell you something. So it really, you have to build that trust, I think, and that's why if you can get a little bit of backing when you go into those meetings, I think that those, we're meeting with integrators next week in Philadelphia when I'm working with Mark. Some of these are designers who don't have a relationship with an integrator yet. We're bringing them in. Some of these are relationships that the integrator has, and we're there to help strengthen those relationships.
I know. That's awesome. So not to completely shift, but I know a couple minutes ago you talked about the NAHB, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when we spoke, did you mention that group? That was like a defunct group for a period of time? The technology working group. So talk about the history of that and sort of, your effort to bring it. Cause I know we're talking about having conversations and getting in the room with these people. Like, that's literally you doing it, right? It's like bringing that group back and having these conversations and making sure that technology is represented, in a community of builders. And I mean, it was awesome to hear that. So, without stealing your thunder, I'll kind of let you dive into that and explain what's going on.
No, I appreciate it. I served on the NAHB Custom Builder Technology Working Group is the committee, and I served. I'm going to say at least 12 years ago. It was quite a while ago, and it was led by Rick Johnson at the time, and it was such a robust. It was a fantastic group, and I don't know if Rick was the one who came up with the structure, but it was equally, represented with integrators, custom builders, and manufacturers / industry people. And I think we probably had 6 to 8 from each group, which had a really great dynamic. And when I got into this new role at Phoenix, I need an industry voice. I need an independent voice. And that first thing I thought was let's see about joining that group again. And when I reached out to NAHB, they told me that they had that group had been disbanded, shut down, dissolved, and had been for about 2 years or so. And I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, it's of all times when builders and designers, especially home builders, and we're talking about with NHB, are so desperate for information. And so I was invited to attend IBS and to show up at the Custom Builder Council meeting and to advocate for the resurrection of this group. And so I agreed to do that. I was already in Florida. I was actually on vacation in Key West. It kind of blindsided me. I drove from Key West to Orlando to give a 10-minute little speech about why I believed it was important for this group to be reinstated. At the time, I thought I was just advocating for it, but after I finished up my passionate request, the chair then, Wes Carroll, said, all in favor, we approve, good. Well, we need a chair. I nominate Bret Jacob, and I had no say, right? And so I walked out.
Careful what you wish for, right?
You bet. So they
That's
saw me
awesome.
coming, let's say. But honestly, it's exactly where I want to be because NHB does give me an independent voice. Everything else I do kind of has a commercial interest attached to it. That's just the reality of this business. But this working group is brand agnostic, and that credibility is something you can't buy.
Yeah, so for those that may not be familiar with it, like obviously having a presence within the NAHB, those that don't know, National Association of Home Builders, might have, the acronym's pretty important in terms of all the conversations we've been talking about. But dive into a little bit about what that group does. What are the conversations like, or what's sort of the mission of that group within the broader NAHB scope?
Our task is really to help and empower custom builders to implement technology solutions into their projects, and that's a very narrow but broad at the same time.
Right. Yep.
Because where do you start? Again, if you account for that spectrum that I talked about, where is this? A builder needs to understand where they are with understanding before they can make a change. So we're implementing a survey that a custom builder could take in 5 minutes that gives them the awareness that they should have an integrator relationship. What an integrator is if they're at that that one level. And not necessarily get to the place where a Greg Hardwick's, his integrator is, right? That relationship. But if you're a 1, you need to be at a 4 or 5. You can move forward with that and understanding the benefits of having a relationship with an integrator and what they can do to help your business.
Yeah.
A lot of this is just dollars and cents. A lot of it is just better product and different approaches. But it is pretty. It's a little. I don't know. I said disturbing at some point, but it is a little disturbing that some home builders, custom builders, they just focus on everything else. They want to talk about the quality of the build, the family legacy. All those things are important, but they completely ignore this category and do their clients a disservice by not bringing the integrator in earlier in on the project, and that's what we're tasked with doing. So the audience are the members of NAHB, particularly the custom builders, and we're building content, and I think we have something coming out this fall that I think is going to be pretty impactful, including that survey that we just talked about.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anyone, any integrators listening, take anything out of kind of what you just described, it's that, I mean, you're basically bringing a voice for the channel into a community and an organization where, it's at the heart of everything we talk about in terms of getting in front of the design build community,
right.
And being there for them and advocating on behalf of integrators, the importance of technology earlier in the home building process.
Yeah, and that is our mission. I always remind our team on every monthly meeting is the builder is our North Star. And even though the builder doesn't know what he should know, we have to teach him what questions to ask. They don't need to know how a network comes together. They don't need to know any of the technical details, but they do need to know what questions to ask. And if they know those questions and then they're comfortable asking them, then that opens up the door for integration.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of see, especially if you were in Orlando and got the chance to walk the floor a little bit. There is some technology present, brands that people in the CI channel, the CEDIA channel would recognize. Legrand was there, Savant, Sonos was on the floor. So like, it's getting. It feels like the awareness and attention to where it's growing a little bit within that channel. But obviously, there's still room for much more of a presence to be had, or a greater conversation between the integrator and builder to be had. And it feels like at least through the work of that the working group that it's you guys are making steps in that direction.
Yeah, that's the idea. Ultimately, it comes down to not calling an integrator at all, or calling the integrator too late.
Yeah, right.
Because by the time the electrician is roughed in and the walls are closing, you've already lost Mr. Builder. The decisions that matter: equipment room location, conduit runs, lighting design, motorized shade pockets. Those have to happen at the architectural drawing phase or immediately after. And the best builders I've met treat their technology integrator like they treat their architect. Day one, every meeting.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And again, I know it's only been 6 months, but to see the progress, like things, you just rattle off a couple of the things that you've created for Phoenix, what you've done at NAHB already. Like it seems, you've had a pretty fruitful first half of the year.
I appreciate that, Rob. It's a labor of love, and I'm very passionate about it. And I just really, really I'm thrilled to be here at Phoenix. Just Chris's vision, empowering me to bring it to life. We've got a lot of work to do the second half of the year to launch this platform, but I can't wait to see it up and running. And the fun part right now is building it out. How do we want an outdoor lighting category to come across to a builder or architect or designer? That's a whole day whiteboarding session if you want, right? Just that alone. So they're fun sessions to have, and I've got a great team behind me.
Yeah, so certainly important for sure in terms of getting that work done. But it seems like we should be following up again, not too far into the future, because I feel like there's going to be more updates to be had, and a lot of the exciting thing to me is as you're building these things out and they're getting used, and getting in front of the more designers and builders, like you guys are going to learn so much about how they're using the tools, and then what adjusts and things like that. So a really cool opportunity ahead of you guys, and selfishly for me too, to learn about it from you. So I look forward to hearing what's coming down the pike with you all, and following the story, because it's an awesome one, man. It's awesome for this channel, and awesome for the broader home building and design community too.
We appreciate it. When you see an opportunity, the opportunity usually is a gap. That usually is what it is, and there's a gap. I mean, there is a gap, and it's a gaping gap, and it has to be addressed. And we're not going to be the only ones addressing it. There are people doing it every single day. People they're on in the technology working group with NAHB. Every single one of those people are doing the exact same thing every day too. Just in their local markets or whatever. But we're all heading toward the same thing: is we've got to empower these builders. We need to help them, right?
Fantastic. So, Bret, I appreciate you taking the time and diving into this. And like I said, we're definitely going to be doing it again. So we won't schedule it here as we're recording a podcast, but we'll let the people know that they should look forward to hearing more from you for sure in the not so distant future.
Well, Rob, I just want to say I appreciate so much what you're doing, and it's so great to see Connected Design alive again. And we're huge fans of you at Phoenix. Everybody, we're rooting for you, and
cool.
We're happy to help in any way we can, and love to participate anytime you're ready.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it. Talk soon.
All right, brother. Bye now.